USD has been pushing up higher as of this morning, and China accuses the United States of violating the trade deal and vows a firm response. Furthermore, the European Central Bank is set for the last easy rate cut as the trade war fuels inflation, and the dollar index notches its longest monthly losing streak since 2020. Now, a lot of bearish signs for the dollar at the moment. Everything has been pushing the dollar down and Euro USD up higher. Now, for Euro dollar, I'm currently looking at this overall liquidity high to push the market potentially down lower again. Overall, we have been generating a lot of liquidity above all of these descending highs, or as we can say, also an area of consolidation. I'm now looking for a fake out on the range to then fuel a potential move further in towards the downside here for Euro USD. Now, looking at the daily time frame, we can see again that we've broken the daily fractal high, which is overall not necessarily a bad thing, but again is a sign that the bulls are back in the market. Overall, however, the market is extremely choppy and slow here on Euro USD. Obviously, with all the uncertainty surrounding the dollar at the moment, it is not something strange. We can see that the market within, let's say, these levels of around 1.12500 and 1.14 is that the market there just tends to consolidate and move sideways. So what I'm looking for now is just a fake out on the range and then a potential move further in towards the lows. This is what I'm looking for based also on what I can see from the weekly time frame. As on the weekly time frame, we still have an area of supply here, which could push the market down lower, and that is pretty much the last kind of like resort and option for Euro USD to sell off. I'm not too much focused on the overall fractal structure as we're getting into very messy price action here, hence why I'm focusing more on the 4-hour. And on the 4-hour time frame, I identify this as my liquidity high to fuel that next potential push in towards the downside. So once we grab that liquidity, I'll be looking at the 1-hour time frame to see if we get any kind of market structure shifts to fuel that next move in towards the lows. So that is what I have for Euro USD at the moment. Some short-term further upside before some potential further downside. Again, looking at the dollar index itself, we can see that we've aggressively been selling off as of this morning, even as it seems with a lot of momentum. And looking at the daily here, it does seem like we are going to break that current fractal low. Let's say we don't, that would obviously be preferable. We would want to, or would love to see a V-shaped reversal from here, breaking the current fractal high, forming a fresh area of demand to then fuel the next leg up. However, we have to be realistic. Momentum is obviously strong in towards the downside, and there is potential for it to push down lower. We do have to keep in mind that we now have the monthly open candle here on Euro, or on the dollar index, excuse me. And with that monthly open candle, what could be a potential possibility is that we wick below the previous monthly low and then see a potential reversal. This is something that we see happening quite often. So I'll be keeping my eyes open for once we liquidate that low. Maybe will we see an drive even lower in towards the current fractal low here on the monthly, and then we'll look for a potential reversal up higher once again. So I am interested in looking for a reversal from the dollar index. However, we will wait for that confirmation before engaging with any potential setups. And for myself, that confirmation would come from, for example, a current fractal high break here on the 4-hour time frame, which does seem slightly unlikely at the time of speaking here on this recording. But obviously, if we do break that current fractal high, that would be a very bullish sign. Otherwise, just let it rip a little bit lower, and then we'll look for more opportunities once we've seen that further downside. If we do break that current fractal low here on the daily, then it does seem very viable that we will push in towards 97,921, which is this monthly fractal low, but it's also the daily swing low. Now moving on into AUDUSD, we can see that AUDUSD has been pushing up higher, finally as expected. Still, the daily time frame is fractal bullish. Not sure if you guys can see it here, but if I remove this indicator, you can very clearly see here that this is the fractal low, which has been respected at all times. This here is the fractal high. Now if we turn on the indicator, you can see it once again. Now, overall, looking for that further upside from this area of demand is what we've been saying, and it seems to be finally happening. Still very consolidative price action, but it still makes sense for Aussie dollar to continue pushing up higher. So I will be looking for this to push up in towards the X, which is for me a daily liquidity high. So looking for that next push up this week here on AUDUSD. Going into GBPUSD, GU has been pushing like a madman up higher, mainly because the pound is one of the stronger pairs fundamentally speaking at the moment. And the dollar obviously weak with all of that uncertainty. So a beautiful reversal here on GBPUSD according to the daily fractal structure, with the current fractal low being respected, a tap into that daily imbalance. And that is what's pushed the market up higher. So daily is obviously still bullish. 4-hour time frame is also bullish after breaking the current fractal high over here. And as we can see, we got that confirmation in the form of, let's say, this overall retracement into daily demand. Then once we tapped into daily demand, we saw the 4-hour change of character. This became your area of demand over here, and that has now been pushing the market up higher. So some nice price action here on GBPUSD. Overall, let's see what happens within this area of supply over here. To be honest, there are equal highs above this. So we have these two descending highs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we take out those, and then we can start looking for a short once again. So that's what I have for GBPUSD. So on the lower time frame being the 15 or the 1 hour, you could still look for short-term long. Obviously, for now, what's happened here on GU is that you've taken out this overall swing high, which was the major liquidity of all of these descending highs here. And now, as you can see here, even if we look left, we also have a lot of descending highs here. So there's still some room for it to push up higher. It already has grabbed major liquidity above these highs, so it doesn't necessarily also need to grab it above this. But obviously, looking at the 4-hour time frame, yeah, let's see if anything at all happens from this area of supply. If it doesn't, and we don't see a 1-hour change of character whatsoever, then just let it rip up higher and yeah, take out these descending highs as well. Going into NZDUSD, we can see that NU is also ripping up higher, in line with what we've been talking about last week. Obviously, we can see that the daily fractal is bullish, current fractal low being respected, current fractal high, daily demand. So order flow is just holding and pushing it up higher. Yeah, again, as expected. So looking for higher prices on NZDUSD to follow the overall order flow. Push up, recharge, and then again, continuation. As we can see, this is the daily demand that was still open, which is also weekly demand. However, we never broke the current fractal low. Daily demand and daily order flow was respected, so it makes sense to continue to push up higher. And as long as obviously the current fractal low is respected, NZDUSD should continue to push up higher and eventually take out all of these descending highs that we have over here. Then going into dollar Swiss, dollar yen, and dollar and gold, obviously. Dollar Swiss pushing down a little bit lower, letting this rip and take out again the overall liquidity lows that we have over here. Obviously here from a daily perspective, and if we just remove the drawings, you can see that we had equal lows over here. That's now being taken out. So let's see where we form support. I don't expect dollar Swiss to go below this low over here or to go really a lot lower, because I do still expect the Swiss franc to be weak, but I'll be looking for a reversal on dollar Swiss very, very soon again, being mainly the 4-hour time frame. So here on the 4-hour, let's keep our eyes open. We've now liquidated this low over here, so a current fractal high break would be very, very bullish if we can see somewhat of a V-shaped reversal, and then yeah, look for potential longs again. That is what I have for dollar Swiss, but then we need to see that reversal happen. Dollar yen pushing down lower as well, with the overall weak yeah, dollar obviously. Now we finally came back down in towards this fresh 4-hour demand zone over here, and once we see somewhat of a reversal from this level and break the current fractal high, that is also when I'll be looking for a long on this. Do keep in mind there are still some kind of like ascending lows over here for us to take out, and yeah, that could still push down lower, and the only confirmation for a dollar yen buy would be a break of the current fractal high, somewhat of a V-shaped reversal. That's the only potential long that I can see here. Then we have gold. I've been looking for longs already since last week, and it's continuously pushing in towards the highs as expected. Yeah, I don't really need to explain a lot more than this. All I can say, here we liquidate the equal lows and we reverse up higher. Here again, we liquidate the equal lows and we reverse up higher. We've, on the 4-hour time frame, seen an impulsive phase. Then we had a corrective phase, and now again we're in the impulsive phase. So we're expecting the impulsive phase to continue until a new higher high. So we're looking for gold overall to continuously push up higher, and yeah, get in on those long opportunities every single time that you potentially can. The overall gold long was very, very early this morning at 6 o'clock. Again, talked about this last week, where we came back down in towards this demand zone. Then what we see here is the 1-hour fractal structure shift. Then here's the second fractal structure shift. And these are the kind of like buy stops that you want to be taking in towards a new higher high, with your stop loss underneath the zone for nice 1 to 3 risk to reward. So some really good setups there on gold, and now just looking to continuously long this up higher. And now what you obviously would need is a new rechargement, maybe some liquidation before any further upside pushes. And then yeah, to eventually take out the highs. So that's what's happening. And yeah, looking for more long on gold. So thanks for watching. I wish you all a fantastic trading day and speak soon.